It's wonderful to have you here again, and this evening I'm going to jump straight in and let's get cracking, shall we? We're going to be doing the 4 ways or the 4 laws to manifesting success. So drop me a hello if you're here. Let's get cracking. Before we begin, I want you to consider, what does success mean to you? It's a word that's bandied around a lot, and some people actually have an aversion to success, but it's important to consider, what does success mean to you? Does success mean wealth, or does it mean happiness? Perhaps it means fame and fortune, or perhaps it's always about doing your best, and that's when you're successful. Or maybe it's about overcoming fear or accomplishing the goals you set for yourself. Success is different things to different people, but what's most important is to get clear on what success looks like to you. How will you know when you are successful? How do you know every day if you're successful? I want you to stop a minute and think. And if you do have something close by that you can jot something down on, write it down. What does success look like to you? How will you know when you're successful? Because if we don't have clarity around what success looks like for us, our uncertainty about success will keep success at arm's reach from us. And we'll never be successful. We'll never feel successful. We'll just feel like we're in the pursuit of success all the time. However, once we're clear on what success means to us, we can then go through the 3-step process that I teach. We can engage our inner resources to get in touch with that success. We can empower ourselves then with confidence and clarity. And then we can energize ourselves to manifest success into our personal reality. But how do we do that? Well, there are indisputable laws that create a cohesive harmony in the universe, and these laws also govern our lives. Once we understand and appreciate these laws and their influence, we can function within their parameters to create the success we desire. And this evening, I'm going to touch on just 4 of these laws to help you get started in manifesting the success you desire most. The first law is the law of resonance. If you've been listening to me for a while, you'll have heard me say this many, many times from Einstein. Everything is energy. Everything has a vibration and a frequency. Energy never stands still. It's always moving. It's always flowing. It's always changing. It's always being drawn toward or repelled away from something. I've spoken many times about the higher vibrational energies or frequencies, and they are the feelings of joy and happiness and appreciation and gratitude and spontaneity and playfulness and love and enlightenment and passion and peace. They sit on the higher vibrationary frequencies, and we know that ourselves. Whenever we feel those feelings, we feel uplifted, we feel energized, we feel like we could accomplish anything, and we are really at the top of our game. Likewise, there are other energies, and these other energies vibrate at a low vibrational frequency, and we've all probably felt them as well, which is grief and depression, anxiety, stress, feelings of overwhelm, overworked. These are all lower vibrational energies, and again, we can feel them in our body. And when we're feeling those lower vibrational frequencies, we feel, lethargic, and life's tough, and we're trying to drag our body out of bed of a morning because we just don't have the energy. This is what we're talking about, the law of resonance. Everything is energy. So the key here to remember, if you're wanting to manifest success into your life, consider what the energy of success is. Pretty obvious. The energy of success is high. It's up there on the scale. So whenever our vibration is low and we're feeling like life's tough and poor me, we must reach for a feeling that is even just a little higher, just has to be a little bit higher. No good saying, I feel dreadful, now I'm going to feel joyous. You're never going to make it. Just go a little bit up the scale to begin with. So we reach for a feeling that's just a little bit higher in resonance. So the key here is to be conscious of how we feel throughout the day and keep reaching for a higher resonance, a more joyous feeling if we can, just that little bit. And that's the first law of manifesting success in our life. That's the law of resonance. So I want you to consider at the moment, take a moment, on a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest, what is your vibrational resonance now? Pick a number. What's your vibrational resonance been for the day? Pick a number. And then think back on this last year particularly. What has been your vibrational resonance? The law of resonance is the first fundamental law of manifesting success. And when you stop and consider it long enough, you realize that, yes, that's true. Energy has its, success has its own energy. And is that how I'm feeling? The second law I want you to consider, and we've talked about this at length too, is the law of attraction. And Einstein said in that same statement, match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. Everything is energy, law of resonance. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you can't help but get that reality. That's the law of attraction. So our current reality, including, our level of success, is the result of our past vibrational resonance. Think about it again. Your current reality, whatever it is, including your level of success in your current reality, is the result of your past vibrational resonance. You see, the law of attraction doesn't discriminate. We discriminate through our repeated energetic frequency. So, consistently high frequency resonance will lead to outstanding success. Consistently low frequency will lead to a life of struggle and poor results. Success is an energy which we must first resonate on a consistent basis. That's the key, on a consistent basis. So think about it. You've already done a scale of 1 to 5 of your resonance. Now think about it a little bit more and then look at what vibration do you consistently resonate. So sure, we fluctuate during the day. We have good days, we might have bad days. But if you think about it, on the whole, what do you consistently resonate? What is the frequency you are consistently resonating? That is the law of attraction. And once you put the law of resonance and the law of attraction together, you start to see how they are the fundamental laws of bringing success into your life. Because we can never chase it, always runs faster than us. Now, the third law I want to share with you this evening is the law of commitment. Okay, we've all heard quotes like, most people fail not because they lack the desire, but they lack the commitment. Or commitment means staying loyal to what you said you would do. And I've touched on this before in a previous episode where I talk about conscious resolve. But what's really interesting is that a study was done at Melbourne University by a Professor Gary McPherson. And he was intrigued and wanted to know how to gauge levels of commitment and how levels of commitment had an impact on success. So what he did is he took a group of 10-year-old children who were all learning to play the piano, and he asked them one question: how long do you intend on playing the piano for? And he had three basic responses. Some of the kids said until the end of the year, which he put down as a short-term commitment level. Other children said, until the end of school, which he gauged as a medium-term commitment level. And other children said, until the end of my life, which he put down as long-term commitment levels. Once he worked out who was who, he then put them all together randomly and put them into 3 separate groups. One of those groups actually practiced for 1 lesson a week playing the piano. The second group practiced for 2 lessons a week playing the piano. And the third group practiced 3 lessons a week playing the piano. And the results were very, very surprising. He discovered that no matter how many piano lessons they took, those children with the long-term commitment sped up their results of their piano playing by 5 times, whether they took 1 lesson a week or whether they took 3 lessons a week. That is the law of commitment. It made no difference. It's 5 times the results faster, 5 times. And in fact, some of the children who had a very low commitment level, short-term commitment level, actually got worse the more lessons they took. They didn't want to do it. They had no commitment to it. So that is the law of commitment and how powerful it is in manifesting our success, in whatever that means to us. So consider this question for this evening. What's your commitment to your success, whatever it is? What's your commitment to your success? Is it short-term, medium-term, or long-term? Are you going to keep at it and at it and at it until it manifests? Because if you have that long-term commitment, you're going to speed up your results by 5 times, the research says. That's the law of commitment. And the 4th law I want to share with you tonight is what I class as the law of consciousness. There is an invisible field of intelligence, of consciousness, that extends beyond time and space. In quantum physics, it's called the unified field or the unified universe. You see, the universe isn't empty. It's made up, obviously, of energy, of energetic frequencies, as Einstein said. And this law of consciousness, this intelligence, this perfect divine harmony, this oneness of everything, goes through the entire universe. That's what makes it all work. And that is why our mindset, our focus, our intention, our attention, our thoughts and emotions and feelings and actions, everything influences everything in our lives. Everything is interconnected. Everything is consciousness. We are not separate from this vast consciousness. We create a ripple effect through the entire cosmos, affecting everything because everything is energy. We are consciousness uniquely expressed in our discernible physical presence. And we are consciousness with a body, not a body with consciousness. Which means, if we take these 4 laws into consideration, it becomes so obvious that we are the masters of our reality. We are the masters of our success. It's so important to realize this, just to consider it and go through the logical steps of it, because that's what it comes down to. It's just that we were never taught this by our parents. We were never taught this in our schools. So by the time we finally hear this, for many of us, it just becomes so challenging that we give up. But it is the truth of how the universe works. So it comes down to one very important thing here is, do you accept that you are the master of your reality, the creator of your success? Because that comes down to responsibility. And the moment we say, I am responsible, we are literally tuning in and working with that wonderful law of consciousness. We're not looking outside of ourselves for validation. We're not looking to the external world for them to say, oh, you are good, yes, you are worthy of success. As soon as we grasp and integrate the law of consciousness and take responsibility for our own lives is the moment things start to shift. So, if we consider those 4 laws, just those 4, everyone experiences exactly the amount of success that they can justify receiving. I know that's challenging, because if you don't have the success that you currently want, don't blame yourself, okay? Just sit with it and be willing to embrace more. The 4 laws of resonance, attraction, commitment, and consciousness always apply. Always apply. It's not that some are lucky and some aren't. The 4 laws of those 4 universal laws always apply. Because it's important that if all we're thinking about and focusing on and paying attention to and acting on is our lack of success, all we're doing is sending out our desire for more success, but all it is wishful thinking. It's not backed by energy. And this is the key. We must disregard doubt. It's an evil little thing, doubt, and we all have it. So we must disregard it and realize that whatever we repeatedly engage with, whatever we repeatedly embody and energize, must return to us like for like. Law of the universe. Einstein made another great quote, or said another great statement that's a great little quote, and he says, reality is merely an illusion, albeit a persistent one. And isn't that true? We keep thinking that this and our lives are all that's going on. And you see, that's the illusion. What's going on is the energy, is the consciousness, is the continual, constant creational force of the universe that is us. Because we are constant creators in our own lives. Because we are consciousness creating itself. We are constantly in movement. So the key is to disregard what appears to be lack, disregard it, keep disregarding it, and align our desires, knowing that the 4 laws are working on our behalf and not against us. You see, the law doesn't discriminate. Our energy does. And this is how we begin to consciously create our success. Consciously create our success. Big key here, without sacrificing our peace of mind or our health or our well-being. Because we must value our peace above all else. Of course, other universal laws apply. However, once we integrate these 4 and we really get these loaded in, the law of resonance, the law of attraction, the law of commitment, and the law of consciousness, we begin to become like a little success magnet, attracting to us that which we desire. It will come in firstly, it will come in small measures, small things, little things that you've wanted will turn up and you'll go, you see, that's a small measure of success. And then the more we lean into it, we'll see larger and larger manifestations coming to us. So, do we have any questions here tonight? Tracy said, understanding this has changed the way I see the world and live my life. That's wonderful. That's great. That's what this is all about. The law of resonance. Yes. Paying attention. Yes. Would you say commitment equals passion for something? Commitment for me has more of that I'm sticking it out till the very end. We can be passionate about something, but that doesn't mean that we're committed to it. So commitment is, as Angela Duckworth said about grit, gritty people say it's not over, everything's all right in the end, and if it's not all right, it means it's not the end yet. That's about commitment. So sure, we can be passionate about something, but we're not necessarily committed to it. Commitment is really that deep, long-term commitment. Passion can be, I love it, I love doing it, it's all great. But are you willing to put in what it takes to see it through to the end? That's commitment for me. That's where commitment to something sits for me. Yeah, for me, it's probably much deeper. It's got far more energy on it. It's got far more power in the action of it. Okay, so passion can be this fabulous feeling, but commitment takes passion and puts it into action for me. So thanks very much for joining me tonight in Power Chat. If you've got any other comments or questions, let me know, and I look forward to seeing you next week as you manifest more success in your life. Bye-bye, everybody.